KREM 2 News begins now.
Just hours ago, the suspect connected to the murder of 4 University of Idaho students appeared in court. Today, what is next in his legal process? And we begin with developing news as a status hearing wrapped up just hours ago for the man suspected of murdering 4 University of Idaho students. Most notably, we learned that we won't expect the suspect to appear back in court until the end of June. Nicole Hernandez was in the courtroom as it all happened and tells us what we can expect.
So we will not be seeing the suspect in court again for more than 5 months now. This after a very short status hearing earlier this morning. We were in the courtroom today. The judge set Bryan Kohberger's preliminary hearing for Monday, June 26th. Typically in Idaho, the preliminary hearing has to happen within 2 weeks of the first appearance. The suspect, though, waived his right to a speedy preliminary hearing to give his attorneys time to review the information in the case. The judge reserved the entire week of the 26th for the presentation of evidence, which is what a preliminary hearing is. That evidence is what Moscow PD outlined in the arrest affidavit the courts released last week. After the preliminary hearing will be the arraignment. That's where the suspect will either plead guilty or not guilty. This was the second time we've seen Kohberger in court here in Idaho. He again had a very calm demeanor and again did not address the people in the back of the courtroom, only addressing his attorneys as well as the judge. And the judge did say he will be in custody with no bail until that preliminary hearing. In Moscow, Nicole Hernandez, KREM 2 News.
And if you want to see the suspect's full appearance, you can watch it on KREM 2+. We also talked with the lawyer about the possibility of the death penalty if the suspect is convicted. The prosecutors can file for the death penalty after the suspect's arraignment.
After that date, the prosecutor's office has 60 days to file a formal notice that it intends to seek the death penalty in a case. And it can only seek the death penalty if a variety of factors are met.
If prosecutors seek the death penalty, the legal process could take longer. In Idaho, not every homicide is eligible for the death penalty. There must be aggravating factors.
If, by way of example, the crime was committed in a particularly heinous manner, or the crime involved more than one death, or if the crime occurred in the commission of a felony like a burglary.
The lawyer also mentioned the defense or a judge may consider a change of venue to hold the trial in a different county due to the nature of the case. And we have also learned that a memorial scholarship fund for one of the victims is close to reaching its fundraising goal. The Ethan Chapin Memorial Scholarship Fund has brought in nearly $114,000 of the $125,000 goal. His fraternity created this scholarship to honor Ethan. They say the Memorial Scholarship will be presented each year to a deserving undergraduate member of the Sigma Chi fraternity at University of Idaho. It is designed to recognize Ethan's legacy.
All right.
Please be seated. All right, good morning. We are on the record. This is cause number CR 29222805. This is State of Idaho versus Bryan Kohberger. Mr. Kohberger is in custody. He is appearing here in court with his attorneys, Ms. Taylor, Mr. Logsdon. Mr. Thompson, Ms. Jennings appearing on behalf of the state. This is the time set in the matter for the preliminary hearing status conference. So I am going to inquire of counsel. Ms. Taylor, what's the status at this time?
Thank you, Your Honor. We are going to ask the court to set preliminary hearing out into June. We would request the 3rd or 4th week of June and probably 4 or 5 days for preliminary hearing. Mr. Kohberger understands his right to a timely preliminary hearing and he's willing to waive the timeliness to allow us time to obtain discovery in this case and be prepared.
And Mr. Thompson, are you agreeing with that?
The state has no objection to that, Your Honor. Ms. Taylor reached out to us by email yesterday with her proposal. on reflection, the state's calendar would be better in the month of July, but we will make the end of June work if that's the court's preference. And I haven't had a chance to talk to Ms. Taylor about that. I'm sorry, I know that's last minute.
That's okay. The court's calendar is going to be better towards the end of June, early July. So would that work, Ms. Taylor, for your scheduling on your other matters?
Your Honor, yes, if we take that 4th week in June, that's actually best.
Okay. So, Mr. Kohberger, I need to speak to you for a moment then. Sir, you do understand, and Ms. Taylor has represented here, that she's advised you of your right to have, or fully discuss with you the right that you have, which is to have your preliminary hearing within 14 days of the date that you initially appeared before this court. As you recall, when I advised you of your rights, that hearing is a probable cause hearing where the state has to establish that more likely than not, these felony offenses were committed and you were the one that committed the felony offenses. If you waive your right to a speedy preliminary hearing, it does not mean that you're giving up your right to have a preliminary hearing. It simply means that you would not be able to come back and challenge that the state did not present probable cause within 14 days. Do you understand?
Yes.
Have you had enough time to speak with Ms. Taylor about your decision to waive your right to a speedy preliminary hearing?
Yes.
Do you need any additional time to do so?
No.
Then I will ask at this time, as to the 5 counts, felony counts that were charged in the criminal complaint that was filed on December 29th of 2022, are you waiving your right to a speedy preliminary hearing and agreeing that that hearing can be held outside the 14-day period?
Yes.
And Ms. Taylor, do you concur with this waiver?
I do, Your Honor, thank you.
I will find your waiver of speedy preliminary hearing is knowing, intelligently, voluntarily entered here in open court with the assistance of counsel. We will go ahead and set the matter for a preliminary hearing. Beginning Monday, June 26th at 9:00 a.m. And I will go ahead and reserve the week, so June 26th to June 30th, in the event that we need all 5 days for presentation of evidence. And just so council knows, it will begin at 9 a.m. each of those days. Is there anything further to address at this time in the case, Mr. Thompson?
Not from the state's perspective.
Or Ms. Taylor?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Kohberger, then you will be remanded into custody on your saying no bail at this point in time, pending further proceedings. Again, we'll send notice out to council, and we will be in recess for this morning.
Thank you, Your Honor.